That was a thunder went on forever and ever. You must have been near the epicenter of the lightning. Yeah. Well, I don't know what time it was. I think you've probably done enough of this. All right. Let's, right, next thing. So can we do two things at once? We'll just so we get ankle off the ground. Oh, thanks. What is a woman? As somebody who can do two things at once. Okay, so heels off the ground. So yeah, but the base of the skull connects with the spine here. So if we've got the groove behind the jaw here, right at the top of that groove, just at the base of the earlobe, point in there, that's where the top vertebra connects with the skull. All right, well, just come on down. I'll just show you. Yeah, if you got the, yeah, it's like the top vertebra connects with the skull here, just that groove. Now, if you think about the base of the skull lifting away from the chest, do you feel the front of the chest lift? And if you sink down, you feel the front of the chest goes down, up, and just get it comfortable. And if you sink your base of your skull down, you feel your chest sink in and sink down, up. Did you feel your shoulders rolling back over your ribs? So you can practice that. Stand on the leg, heel off the ground. Once you know you've got your nice foot there, just around base of the skull where the spine meets, just down a bit. You feel yourself shrinking down and send the base of the skull up away from the chest. The whole body lengthens out. Even the hips seem to lift a bit. And yeah, so I asked the previous class, what was a good thing we learned today? And it was, oh yeah, base of skull. Mm-hmm. And all they did was, I look around and all they did was, they did this. They just went, the head lift away from chest. I'll show you a really nice spine stretch forward doing just that. Base of skull, lift away from the head. All right, so, okay. So just, can you get the nice heel, ankle up, toe up? And along the way, you might get a little stretch in your ball of your toes. I'm just pausing at times, just pausing and knowing that I've got an ankle up or toe up. I'm listening to the calf muscles. All right, base of the skull lifting. Wow. We're really walking like Lord Mayor. I've got my stick here. You don't need a stick. So, yeah, so base of skull, lift away. This is going to be helps the neck, the headache muscles relax. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Computers, yeah. So, so we've got the base of skull lifting thing. I'll show you a yoga exercise recommended to get the back of your diaphragm working, which is a major way to strengthen it up so that it will reduce the risk of heartburn and acid reflux. So we know already about chair sit monkeys. Attach a string to your elbow or a cotton thread to your elbow, just go out of it. Now the knees go wide and the weight's a little more on the outside of the foot. You know about that. But there's this hover moment. That's right. Just give you a bit of time with that. That's right. Pressing through. Now, on the way up, you're going to have knees wide, press your heel. I'll get to where I'm wanting to. On the way down, come on up. And so on the way down, you might be pushing through about ball of fourth and fifth toe a little bit more. So, all right, knees wide. Pausing. Okay. And remember, heel, perhaps a little bit more on the outside of the heel, but it's because the knees are wide. Okay. So here's the thing is, if we position our arms like this, like holding on to a big balloon, this is called the chair, or yeah, the chair. That's a yoga pose. Now you're breathing into base of skull lifting. You just breathe into the side ribs and the back ribs and just Hold the breath in. Relax the neck, move the eyeballs, and just let the breath out. And when you're ready again, just breathing in smoothly. Base of skull lifting away, breath holding. And come on up. That's the chair pose. Did you feel like you're activating muscles through here? And I'm finding I'm just a little bit lightheaded from that, so I'm just going to move it. You're probably all right. So we'll do 2 more breaths in a chair pose. It's just like monkey sit, but arms up. And yes, there we go. So your bottom's reaching out backwards, your arms are reaching out to just to the ceiling. Okay, breathing in. Base of skull lifting away, just hold that breath. Okay, ready for our next one, just breathe in. Feel the back ribs expanding, belly's expanding. And come on out. I found that was just getting a little bit of the headache muscle going here. That was interesting. So it's always good to do some upping and downing because it's a very quick and efficient way to do some good things. We've already done the chair sit. That's an assisted up and down into marriage proposal. Okay, so you might give me 4 on this side. That's right. This is the beauty is you've got the arm to help you. You're thinking about the knee going over somewhere about just above about 4th toe. Got the arm to help you. You could be putting a little more weight into the front of the foot. Down about 5, I might try the other side. What I've got is a chair side. Stay on that side. Just chair side back. Chair side leg back. So you'll be, yeah. Stay on that side. Yeah, that's good. It doesn't probably matter. I probably should just explore it that way. You might have found something really nice. But just aware that the knee's not going knock-knee. And down. Now the base of the skull can lift away and the chest from the chest. And the chest lift away from the hips. Well, yeah, that's really special. Come on down, take a little stretch moment. There's 2 stretches. We can have a hand on the chair and an arm at the side. This is like the seagull leaning into the breeze, sitting on the front of a ship. Point, just push your wrist back. Look up. Base of skull lifts. Okay. So the next one is just arm up. We're looking up to the ceiling. Just look up with your eyeballs and the rest will follow. Looking up. Now you can think about base of skull lifting and you're breathing into your, perhaps the belly and lower ribs and just see where the breath goes. Base of skull lifting. Whew, that was a bit of an amazing stretch for me. How did you find it? Let's put that chair the other side. Okay. So I've got the seagull in the breeze thing here, just the arms out the side, the fingers point back, wrist pressing back. So looking up to the ceiling, shoulders back. We take a breath. Base of skull lift, chest lift. Hold the breath, and there's a strength moment, just holding the breath and let it go. So the neck is just arm up here, just arm up. And looking up with the eyeballs, yeah, you're there already. Arm up and back, breathing into the middle of the body. Base of skull lifts, chest lifts. Okay. The rolling to Gallagher. And just whichever is the vertical thigh. I think it might be good to come over to get something on the mat there. So rolling to get, so whichever is the vertical thigh, that's the arm that goes high. So picture yourself a cowboy on a horse. And sort of rolling action. I don't know, maybe it's more like a camel move actually. So you still think about your base of skull, lifting away from chest, lifting away from hips. You know, I think the previous case, they agreed that was pretty magic sort of cueing, just tall. So when you're back, your belly button's back. And when you're forward, the tummy and pubic bone sinks down. And if you let your eyeballs be mobile and your base of skull lift, you know, you come back to how you used to be as a kid before they sat you in the chair and made you do all those horrible school lessons. Yes, other side. So rolling Sir Galahad, hand on vertical thigh, that's the hand to go high. Sometimes I'll say, hold a cowboy hat, belly back, belly button back, and then forward. Pubic bone down, lower tummy down. If you're looking up with your eyeballs, the rest will just happen. So just carry on with that. So you can watch me, Glennis. What I was talking about, base of skull, where does the top vertebra connect with the base of the skull? Well, here it is. There's a groove behind the jaw. There's a bottom of the earlobe. And just in there, that's the base of skull meets the top vertebra. And just think about that lifting up. And you might just feel as it lifts up, the breastbone lifts. Yeah, I haven't tried the side to side. That's a little different, that one. But, so if I say base of skull, lift away from chest, and you'll feel your front of your chest lifts and the shoulders roll back over the ribs, just by base of skull lifting. And the other is just chest lift away from hips. Now, we're going to, let's see, I'm just alternating a strength thing with a stretch thing. We'll come up to the chair again. For a good morning, ideally you'd have a barbell stuck on your shoulders here, but it's just, here we go. Now your weight will be somewhat on the outside of the foot, I expect. Look up with your eyeballs and come up. So just look down to the chair back, look up with your eyeballs. This will reprogram your body, so when you're putting big, heavy shopping, whatever's in the back boot of the car, you'll do it in a very safe way because the movement's programmed and the strength has been put in the muscles. Good, now it's just the single leg version. The chair back's there if you need to catch yourself for balance. You're really working through this ankle now. Base of skull lifts, that'll take the pressure off the headache muscles in your neck. Yeah, I'm just pause there for a while, come up and do the other side. So we might go down for 10 or 15 seconds. You're on the other side now. Yeah, just think neck relax, base of skull lift away. This is so good for the ankle roll balance. Yeah. So we're just reviewing lots of movement. You could describe man as an animal with infinite variety of movement, and we are. We're the most infinitely adaptable movement in the human body of all the animals and man. We really are. So I've got a stick here, and we just do the foot side, the stick side foot down. So you reach down for golf ball. This is how you do it. And we could just do 4 on one side. And guess what? This is a variation on the good morning. Your support knee may bend a little bit. You've done 4 on one side. I don't really have to cue it. You're working your foot arch muscles and your transverse foot muscles underneath your foot and so on. So I don't have to cue it. It's all happening. And yeah, the other side. Whew. And yeah, imagine doing this. If there's a golfer picking up the ball, well, imagine doing it without the stick. Now that would be something else. Just do 1 on each side, just hold the stick up and see if you can. How good are we? Pretty good, pretty good. All right, back to the mat. So I'm doing a sort of a stretch and a strength and you know, just alternating a little quad stretch. How do I know this is good? Because I wasn't really demonstrating it the last month or so, and boy, oh boy, I'm feeling the problems of not doing that. So if you see, I just bring my hand across to that front corner, send the hips forward to there. Oh, right. Now I'm giving us 10 seconds starting now. So forward. Whew. Remember, yeah, base of skull, lift, chest, lift. Okay. And just find a nice relaxed. Okay, switching side. All right, you got that spare hand. This is your chance to do your own touch cueing. So front corner of the hip, forward to that hip, hand. So what happens when I don't do this stretch? So what happens to cyclists is they get a really tight around the side of the kneecap. You see, feel it. It's pulling the kneecap over to the side of the groove here. And I'm feeling that. So this is the cure. Now, I'm going to take us through the three neck stretches. Now, actually there's 4, I think. Perhaps I'll do 2. Now, we'll do the 2 look-up stretches. Well, the first one is just second rib breastbone. You know that spot? Down we go. You could think about base of skull lifting away and chest lifting away from the hips. So lifting a little bit. Okay, so you send the first rib up and the Adam apple up, and then the chin up. Chin forward, teeth touching. Might try a breath into the lower ribs. And then come on out. Now, the neck headache muscles are also the dizziness muscles too, they can be. So we don't want to do too much. So we just do, I don't know, I just got a touch dizzy. I'm in the sort of dizzy mode today, probably because of the cold weather, actually. But how are you feeling? You're not too dizzy? Good, good. Just me by the looks. Second rib breastbone, or down. We've still got all the time the skull, base of skull lifting. Okay, breastbone down. You see around your shoulders there? So the base of, even here, you can think about base of skull lifting away. And so breastbone up. I just get my other hand up. Adam's apple up. Chin up. Teeth touching. Chin forward. You keep the base of skull lifting, but you might think of breath into the middle of the body. And we're coming out. That was quite powerful, I think. Tall kneeling, just grab a band, we'll do a strength thing. So that was the look-up stretch. Not just the neck stretch, it was the upper chest as well. Now we've got the tummy working. 4 times, just straight up with your fingers touching. Base of skull lifting. Yeah, that seemed to help. So we've done 4. Okay. Just hold out the side like a child of a skipping rope. We're not skipping, we're just forward and backing, maybe just 4 times. So let's see, just take your elbows and send them out towards your hands. You see the angle on my forearm? Send your elbows out to your hands, as it were. And the lower shoulder blades are going out to your elbows. Base of skull lifting, chest lifting. Wow, they did work, yeah? Right, okay. So this time just up here. Now, we want the side ribs to lift. So side ribs lifting. And breathe. Base of skull lift. And we'll try the other, just side ribs lifting. We've got that little bit of base of skull lift. Oh, how high can we go? Okay, good. Just let that down. Square grass skirt. That's just the shoulders are relaxed and wide. So the spiral look-up stretch, this is the spiral look-up muscle. It's called the sterno, that's the sternum. Cleido, that's the collarbone. Mastoid, that's the mastoid bone. So it connects these 3 points in an upside down Y. But this bone behind the ear, if it lengthens away from the inner collarbone, that's a spiral look-up. And you could try it that way. We want to lengthen from the inner collarbone to the bone behind the ear. Just ask him to lengthen away. By the way, your ribs will lift on that side too. You look directly upwards and you just spiral down, come look down. Yeah, it moves up and away. Maybe another way might be if we just try the, I don't want you to do too much there, I just can get the whole balance working. So if we had pads of fingers just, and the middle finger's on that bone behind the ear, I just now the fingers might not be comfortably able to lift up, but that bit goes away. The finger's pointing away from the collarbone. That's the direction you're going. That finger's pointing the direction that the bone behind the ear goes. You look directly up, come down. Yeah. Now, as a Pilates instructor, I'm constantly doing this lift your head off the pillow type thing. And these muscles can get very tired. All muscles need to be worked and then they need a period of rest, but sometimes it can accumulate a bit much. So first thing in the morning, hop out of bed. It's not like this at the moment because I keep them maintained. The room's spinning. Yeah, got to do this. Mobilize just like this. I'll just introduce you to using pads of fingers to massage this muscle. Well, actually, you can actually put your fingers around there, you see. And by the way, you might be pressing on an achy spot that's sending an ache into your ear somewhere. Yeah, you can actually grab it. And just a little comparison, a little sharper this side, but it's not sending ache up into the ear or around the ear. Yeah, just tilt my head over to that side. So it's a bit shorter and it's a bit looser. Ooh, it's quite sharp on this side, but it's not sending an ache up into the side of the head. Okay, now everyone's going to find something there. Don't want to get too carried away with that. But the other thing is you can just use the pads of the fingers or a soft massage ball. There's no tubes or blood vessels there. You put it under a slight stretch, the muscle comes up to your fingers. You can just see I've got a push and a slide up, slide the skin up. Oh yeah, and it's looking up. Yeah, and we can find some amazing achy spots there, and even as tiny, might be a rice grain spot. Ooh, achy spot there. Let's give you a minute, just give a few seconds on that. Now, sometimes you can have whiplash injuries that you've really got some ingrained knots and trigger points in this. So you might have felt like you squeeze a thing, oh, that's funny, a little bit of headachy stuff happening. So that was the two look-up stretches like that. Now, I think if I said finger on and that's the way, just send that bone up and back, your whole body might twist around looking up. Okay. That's the spiral look-up. I never like to do too much of that all at once because would you like to just sit Geisha style, but how's the stretch for the legs here? So I'm just get my knuckles in and just a little bit of moving the sheet of connective tissue here. Yeah. I don't know if they do this when they're having Japanese tea parties, probably not. Bone therapy, that's a real area. They know that's a really tight area. And there's a theory that, mercury accumulates in heavy metals, and this will be accumulating in this sort of connective tissue area. So it's good to get the blood going. It's quite nice just to give it a bit of yeah, we won't stop too long there. So we're on the mat. Knees wide, rocking back and exploring the boundary of the movement. Your knee might stop you or your hips might stop you. Obviously, the front of the knee gets a stretch. That's a magic stretch for stiff old knees. If it's painful, well, you stop at the boundary of comfortable. You don't push into the pain too much. But over time, this is a really good controlled way to win back some range of movement for your knee. It's also good for your hips because the ball is deep in the socket. There's no challenge to the ball deep in the socket. It has to center deep in the socket. So it's a really nice way to stretch and mobilize the muscles around the hip joint. You get the blood supply into the muscles around the hip joint. And it's not a threatening thing for the hip joint because it's exactly the right thing to get the ball centered in the hip socket and we're still getting some nice stretching. All right, so just bring yourself to your hands now. By the way, base of skull lifting, and you might find that helps your neck muscles. Wrist up, you just ask your wrist to go up. All right, wrist up, so wrists are up. And we'll still do the rocking forward and back. Yeah. This is where we're just exploring if we might have a bit of background rheumatoid arthritis that ends up with swollen finger joints and things. In my younger days as a veterinarian, I go out in cold winters like this and my knuckle joints swell up. Probably was just a very vague, mild rheumatoid arthritis, and thank goodness it never got really bad. Get on to a better diet. That's a big topic. And they're okay now, but they could flare up at some stage. Things happen. All right, so we've got our gorilla knuckles now. Can we just go forward and back on gorilla knuckles? This is a real good test for if you've got a vague bit of finger joint arthritis. We're actually pretty good. I'm looking around. We're good. We're good. So I could have half a dozen people in a mat class, and I'm diagnosing whether you've got a little bit of vague symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. Now, we're pretty good, right? Well, you can probably tell if a bit sore, but this is a good stretch, by the way, if you have got some sort of finger joint arthritis. Okay, so we have the hands forward. We go into a bent knee brace. All right, from here we can do just a little up and down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Elbows are bending in line with the mat. And your tummy is working, your base of skull's lifting. Oh, you got a little bit taller. All right, so we can do 3 now, as big as you can make them. It might only go halfway down. Come on, we're going to come on out. Child's pose, just perhaps more frog pose, just elbows wide and sink down as low as you can. The knees wide. Again, it's a really nice center of the joint place. So we're so low, the farmer could close the gate over the top of us. Nice chance to lengthen your skull or base of skull away and breathe into your belly and lower back. Base of skull lifting. We're going to come forward into that bent knee plank. But this time, push your heels together. Just push your heels together. And just a tiny little 1 inch up and down, up and down. Push your heels together, push your heels together. You feel the back of your pelvic floor working because you're pushing your heels together. Base of skull lifting. Okay. For the bear, you need your heels off the ground. So get your thighs close to your body and your hips high. That's the bear, courtesy of the Prague School of Physiotherapy. This is one of the movements that babies do when they're trying to get themselves up off the ground. They'll hold in, they'll be wobbling around and wobbling around. Okay, so take one leg forward to, say the right leg forward to your right hand. And there we go. And again, this is one of the things I observe babies doing. And so that bent knee that's on the ground, just lift it up and then lower it back down. And lift and lower. Nice movement, eh? Our bodies have infinite range of movement in. I could do the stereotype Pilates exercise or the gym exercises, but can I sort of, ham it up a bit? We've done about 6 on one side, just bring the leg back, bring the other leg forward. We can ham it up a bit. And so we're taking, it's like the bear with one knee forward. You can feel a lot of, and yeah, so there's a knee and a hip lift, and go back down. Now, I'm just going to go over to the chair now. So get your feet together, hands flat to the ground, knees bent. This is a baby lifting up. So look up and come on up and go over to the chair. We'll go to the back of the chair. Just going to have a little session with a little bit of mobilizing lengthening on the inside of the thigh. So first off, you just chair back. And I just think about your spine lifting, your base of skull lifting. And if you're a kid, your eyeballs will be moving. You're just looking around all over the place. Because when your eyeballs are moving, if like your neck muscles are like the tripod of a camera, your eyeballs are a camera. Or should I say the eyeballs are like a camera lens. Your head's like the camera, and your neck muscles are the tripod. So let it all be free. So as soon as your gaze moving around, the rest of your camera and tripod, like your neck muscle and shoulders, are moving. Oh, so if I look a little bit over my shoulder, I just doing a little, think I'll just look over my shoulder now. Look and look and look. Just try that. Oh yeah, looking over my shoulder, look forward, look over my shoulder, look forward. And it's, you know, just letting the eyeballs move, it's quite easy to encourage the neck to relax. Turn the chair around, legs wide. See, you could just grab a chair anytime. And we have Eric Dalton, the Internet Massage School of Massage, Dalton Massage. He says, motion is lotion. Well, to get your eyeballs moving, have smiley cheeks. How we doing? Oh, yeah. I'm going to turn the chair around now and sit in it. We could have been doing some fancy yoga moves, but we don't have to. It's too cold this morning. You just press the knee down and have a heavy shoulder and arm. Think about base of skull lifting away from chest and chest lifting away from hips, but it's not a big movement. And we'll just do the other side. This is my tight side. I'm thinking I need to massage all down the side of the hip and thigh here. Heavy arm. Just press the knee down. Heavy arm. Hug a knee to the opposite chest. And again, just think about base of skull lift, chest lift. And might you just feel, oh, that actually feels quite nice. So this leg down here, just send it out against the ankle. Oh. Oh. And the other. So we've done a little bit of squat work for strength, a little bit of stretching. Certainly been doing some mobilizing. I'm going to go to wall and ball massage for the lower back hip pocket, which should be really nice for exactly where it's needed. So lower back hip pocket. And remember, monkey, knees wide, bottom to the wall. Just place it just above the sit bone. And then when you're engaged, you can just let your body verticalize, but you've still got knees bent wide. And the weight's on the front of the foot. Remember, 15 points of contact, 15 points of front of toe, mid toe, and ball of toe. And I've got the ball just above the sit bone going out to the side to sort of bump into the top of the thigh bone. Yes, and if you can picture the neck of the femur directly behind there. Well, I'm going to just pause there. Whew. And it's quite good to just compare the two sides. I know my right hip's my not so good hip. And I also know that this is going to be the sharp side, the muscles. There's knots in there. You've got your weight somewhere on the front of your foot. All right, so just give us 15 seconds on. And if you know which is your bad side, we'll give that a good going over. That's my bad side. Oh, it's not too bad. I'm going to say it's a bad side. All right, so we can have an infinite variety of the Pilates 100, but we'll start from here. Base of skull lift away from chest, chest lift away from hips. So you just let yourself roll down with control. I'm afraid I wasn't very controlled. That's okay. So heads down. And if you just head up, if you need to put the hand behind your head to take the load off your neck muscles, you can. So just press the knees together and pump. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing 20. And take the knees wide. And even just push the knees wide. And from here, just fingers and thumbs, first finger and thumb pointing. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just looking for the stretch while you're doing this. It's not the most ladylike one. Okay, so now push the heels together and the knees are wide. And this time, that way. Push the heels together, push the feet together. Can they touch? Push, push, push. And feet down, head down. Double leg assisted roll up, hands behind the knees. So just head up, push your shins forward and point your toes. Now, if you just wait, you might just find that you find the balance and come up. And just sit tall, but sit tall and just look between your legs, just look down. And then find the balance. Find the balance and roll down. Point the toes, eventually you would rock on up. The body just finds the extra little bit of bend in the mid-back or wherever it needed. Good. So could we try and make that smooth, but make it quicker? Point the toes, come on up, sit tall, but you're still balanced. Roll back down. We won't do too many. Once you're up, we'll just stay up and go into a cross-legged. This way. Pulling it. Just see if we can encourage the knees down and wide. Hands behind the legs, down we go. Put your hands on one leg. We're just working single leg stretch now. And if that's all right, do the other side. Get your ankle working. So when your knees close, your toes is close. And when your leg's long, you press the button on the wall with your big toe. Get your ankle working. Okay. We'll do 2 on the first side, out and back, out and back. Yeah, just the second side, out and back, out and back. And you might like to put one hand behind your head. You can do. I'm going to put one hand behind your head. So let's take the knee out the side and back. And out the side and back. We've got a head up and a hand behind the head. Let's do that. And then switch over. So hand on the shin, hand behind the head. Send the leg out. So you're working to keep your body from rocking sideways. I have one side where it's very hard for me to stop the body rocking sideways. You might be rock solid, or you might be a little bit rock and roll both sides. Doesn't matter too much. Okay. So now just take both legs, put hands behind the head, straighten the legs, push the heels away. Single straight leg stretch, just pull on the shin or out high on the ankle, pull, switch, and switch, and switch. From here, we're just rocking boat, hands behind the knees, round your back, rocking, rocking, rocking. Come up to seated, grab a stretch band windscreen wiper. What a lot of rain. That's amazing. So just try a couple of windscreen wiper actions, clickety-clack. We're probably going to hear that for the rest of the week as we're driving. Windscreen wiper. And so you can just keep a half an ear on what I'm saying now. I'm just going to hold the leg across the body, the hip rolled up. So I've got two hands on the band, the leg across the body. Touch the heel down. And that's my stretch. And take the leg wide of the body. And pretend this is a frog leg. So just bend the knee, and the knee's coming up to the armpit. And enjoying that stretch. And I'm thinking this area here could have a bit of benefit from getting a bit of knuckle massage, perhaps seated in a chair. And then straighten the leg, it's out the side, push the heel away. I'm just going to switch over. If I've got my leg to the ceiling, I can just step the other foot in. A couple of windscreen wipers, left, right, clickety-clack. Yeah. Human body, we've got an infinite variety of movement in this body. It's incredible. I think human bodies aren't as beautiful as some of the beautiful animals, but we've got lots of movement in us. If we had chimpanzee, I've just got the leg across the body, heel sinks down to the floor. What a stretch, two hands on the band. If we had a chimpanzee body, they don't weigh as much as us or an orangutan, but they're incredibly strong. It's a trade-off. They don't have so much range of movement, but chimps and orangutans are incredibly strong. We humans, we've got range of movement and variety of movements instead. So leg wide, bend the knee like a frog. Knee coming up to armpit, kind of. And that is a stretch. This is the sort of place with knee up close to armpit that they put the girl babies. Usually it's girl babies that got developmental hip dysplasia and they want to get the ball, the socket, the ball deep in the socket. So it's a good center of your hip joint thing. And so just straighten the leg's out the side, or push the heel away. Back to the single leg stretch configuration with, just hold both knees in. Keep one hand on a shin, the other hand behind your knee. We'll go out on the diagonal this time. And just up and down, just a little action up and down, but keep it controlled. It's no jerky jarring, because we don't want to jerky jar these inside leg muscles. Breathe, think about breathing into the lower circle of ribs and the back and the skull lifting away from the chest. All right, so bring him back in, bend the knee and switch over. So just hanging that leg out. This is not my good balance side. And just that little up and down, no jerky jarring. I'm trying to make this, yeah, it's just whatever you can get. Well done. And so we have a sort of, this is happy baby with a hand over each leg. We'll cross your ankles. And this is just, we just got a little bit of rocking action with your head down. You can see that? So here we just, this is like, amongst other things, there's a nice little rocking massage for your lower back. It's getting the blood supply in there. And you could head side to side, just rock your head a little bit. The base of the skull lifts away from the chest. as you breathe into the middle of your lower circle of ribs, front and back. Just a little bit of rocking. Now for femur circles, guided with the hands, you just yeah, you could bring your head up and see what I'm doing. Just use a hand to stir a pot with your thigh and just change direction. And you can put your head down. We're not worried about huge range of movement. We're just encouraging some movement. Could you imagine if there's a cartilage rim, and there is a cartilage rim around the hip socket, and we're now, the ball of the hip socket is actually massaging that cartilage rim on the ball of the neck. Just a gentle cartilage rim, just get a wee massage, because it could be scar tissue. In fact, it probably is scar tissue in most of us from healed labral tears. Labrum, that's the lip of cartilage that goes around the circle, the rim of the hip joint. Just the other side. Ooh, that's pretty. So this is we could call this a labrum. That's the name of the rim of the cartilage around the rim of the hip socket. So giving a little labrum massage here. Maybe some nasty little scar tissue areas. It probably is. By the time we get to 60 or whatever, it probably is. If you're a soccer player or a hockey player, you've got lots of things like that. Okay, so let's come up to seated. How do we come up to seated? I don't care how you come up. This will be the best spine stretch forward you ever done. You know why? Because you're going to lift the base of the skull away from the chest away from the hips. Keep that lift. And chin on chest, roll each vertebra forward. Even forward, the base of the skull, where the spine meets it, is lifting away from the chest, and the chest away from the hips. Rolling on it. Can you get a ripple of roll down each vertebra? And you just think about the lifting, the base of the skull and the chest, and just away you go. I used to come up and watch. Yeah, base of skull lifting, away from chest. Head nods first, and each vertebra nods in sequence. Good, good. If you can get that, yep, that's good. And forward we go, and first forward we go, the back of the neck lengthens, 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 lengthens. Base of skull lifting, yes. This could be, you know, that tension thing. Nice. Okay, onto our sides. Front and back kick. Here we go. The arms in the action too. So it's like marching. As the leg goes back, the arm comes forward and touches the hip as it comes through. And we can get a leg forward. How far back can the arm go? So, yeah. It's like you could imagine the fingers reaching away to the corner of the room, and the foot's trying, and the sole of the foot's trying to reach away to the corner of the room, whichever. And we smoothly move into, basically it's a stretch, we're thinking about the foot lengthening away and the fingers lengthening away, and we'll stop after this one. And so for book openings, here we go. You just open the book, but think about the shoulder going back more than any other part. So the shoulder blade should land on the ground, and then you can think about the rest of the arm lowering. And then just the fingers up for arm up, shoulder up, close the book. Yeah, so let the shoulder blade and the shoulder lead. So down we go, the shoulder blade contacts the ground, the arm carries on. And then, yeah, once the hand's up, we'll just hand up. And on the way back, you think about your wrist leading. I think that will work. Shoulder back, shoulder contacts the ground, the arm goes down. On the way back, you might just think of your wrist leading the action. So that's a book opening. Yeah. Great thing is the rest of the body will just do what it does. We'll come up and do the other side. We'll do the front and back kick from bent knees. Yeah. So if legs forward, arms back, and smoothly through. Think about fingers reaching to the corner of the room and toes, maybe the sole of the foot reaching to the corner of the room. Okay, when you touch the corner of the room, let me know. And we can get quite a lot of strength just by working on length and coordination. Just I think if they're doing yoga. And then we can really pump weights at the gym and really load it up on the middle range of movement. Knowing we put the robustness and damage control by doing strength, length at the end of range, length and control. Okay, book openings. Book openings, so the hands in front like a hardcover book. And the arm goes back, but the shoulder blade and the shoulder lead the movement. Get the shoulder blade down to get the elbow and hand down. And on the way back, just lift the hand and let the wrist close the book. It leads the action. Shoulder leads the action on the way back. Get the shoulder blade down. Hand and wrist lead the action on the way forward. Fingers touch. Carry on. Okay, so next theme is basically up and down kick. I'm just going to do an easy one. Can we just knee up and down? I want you to imagine that kneecap's touching a wall. So the kneecap comes up and a little bit forward, if anything. Front, this top hip will go forward a bit. Body will rock forward to keep the knee forward. Okay, so we've had about 4 of those. Now straighten the knee and same sort of movement that as the leg goes up, the hip comes forward a little. So your chest will come forward as the leg goes up. And it's pretty, you can put a hand in front of your heart if you like. Yeah, okay. That's a little bit mean. So the chest rocks forward as your leg comes up. You might not go very high with that, that's all right. So we had the 2 versions of that. Just come up like, can you be Mr. Wobbly Man? You have the neck lifting away. Yep, okay, up we go, other side. So there's a little clam action to start with. But remember that the knee cap is touching the wall. Keep the knee on the wall. That means as the knee comes up, the hips will come forward. Yeah, knee comes up, the hips come forward. Haven't got a wall, but I got a stick. Keep the knee forward on the stick. I'll block the hip. There we go. Knee, hip forward. That's kind of mean. Yeah, knee up. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, sort of. We don't usually do a movement like that when we're standing, do we? But we're infinitely capable. You know, physios tell you to do that because they just want you to not to cheat and actually put the muscle movement in the hip pocket muscle. So where are we? Okay. So just the straight leg version. So again, the leg goes forward as it goes up. So that means your whole body rolls forward. So you just forward. So up and the body rolls forward. It's the sort of thing that kids might do. Up and the body rolls forward. That is just so hitting that spot, eh? You can't lift your leg too high because the body's doing it's quite a little bit counterintuitive. It puts a pack of punch into that. Strengthening that muscle, which is an absolutely crucial muscle for controlling standing on one leg. For soccer players, for example. I don't know about you, but that really hit the spot there. That's good. Come on, give it a stretch. All right. Oh, oh. Shoulders down, base of skull lifts, eyeballs moving. Just about done our time. So we have infinite movement in it. If we can just take a standard exercise and put a tweak in it, that's just magic. Tall kneeling. Remember we had the look up stretch? And you could just join me for a measurement. Fingers on the breastbone, lift the other one on the, and then come on down. We had the spiral look up. If we took the hand over to the opposite mastoid bone behind the ear there, and we just the direction of movement of that bone is up in the direction that second finger, and the chest and collarbone lifts as well and come back down. And just the other side. All right. So we have the next side stretch. We're doing that now. Let the shoulder and ribs lift. Now, the thing about the side neck stretch or side body stretches, I want you to think about lengthening on the short side of the body. Another way of saying lengthening on the short side of the body, you can feel that? Base of skull lift away from chest and chest lift away from the hips. Or we could think about lengthening on the short side of the body. Okay, so that's the next side stretch. Now the final, this is your tired businessman's muscle because they're hunched over the decks doing $1 million checks and things, and So if we just slump forward, like your chest is still lifting, but you slump forward, and you can reach fingers up and hook them into your trapezius muscle. There's various spots in there you can get into. And so if you look down towards the elbow on that hanging arm, and you might find that muscle's lengthening back there. I hook fingers in there like I've got rocks in that muscle. It's just, whoa, really do feel like rocks. It's amazing. So explore it. You hook your fingers in. You can reach right over, just over the shoulder blade, and just take that line from above the shoulder blade into this, where the spine is. And just, ooh, ow, ow, move the fingers. Ooh, ow, ow, right, ooh, yeah, right. Lots of stuff in there. Now, there's also a line just basically from the side of the neck to the point of the shoulder, and you can really hang the arm and look at your crease of your elbow. Ooh, 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 right. I just hook the fingers and rock back and forth. Ooh, 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 right, okay. And you might feel little achy stuff going up into the back of behind your ear and even up over your temple, just around your eyeball. And that's so that anytime you're sitting in a chair and you just hang the arm and I think I'll just hook my fingers in. And we could talk more about that, but just to be aware of it. And if you think base of skull lifting away from chest as you do that, it actually will make it work better. Oh, I'm amazed, like that rock in that muscle is just amazing. Yeah, have a little try with that. So you come out of that feeling a little bit achy and sort of muzzy. And we wonder sometimes heavy metals and mercury, you might be loosening those up a bit. Well, what would you do? You'd eat cilantro. What else would you do? And drink heaps. Sorry? It might loosen up some of the mercury that's sequestered in there, or whatever, lead, whatever. So you drink heaps, and what do you eat? Cilantro. What's that? That's the old coriander and stuff like that. Any of the herbs will help that sort of thing. Get it out of the body. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Wow, great. Wow. Yeah. Now, where are we? Nice.